Let's bring in Will Scharf, a lawyer for former President Trump. He's also a Republican candidate for Missouri Attorney General. Mr. Scharf, welcome. Good to have you here today.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. So let's start with this. This is the reaction over at CNN with regard to what we just heard from the former president, that this is all, the former president saying this is all coming from the White House. This all is election-oriented to keep him off the trail. And here's what their analyst, Ellie Honig, said. Watch this.
We keep hearing this claim by Donald Trump that this and all the prosecutions are somehow the product of Joe Biden's White House. We've said, and I'll say it again, that is absolutely false. And here it's demonstrably false.
What do you say to that, sir?
Look, I think this is the first of the Biden show trials playing out, in front of every American around the country. I think Americans see these prosecutions for what they are, which is politically motivated in an effort at election interference. I think President Trump's absolutely right. I'd also say that I'm limited in what I can say about this subject because of the wildly unconstitutional unilateral gag order that Judge Merchan placed against President Trump and his team that prevents us from raising some of the very real issues that have come to light in court papers and that just infect this prosecution from its initiation through to the present day. So, look, I think it's a sad day for democracy to see elections playing out in courtrooms instead of at the ballot boxes where they belong.
Let me ask you about Matthew Colangelo, who is senior counsel to the Manhattan DA. And he, until recently, about a year and a half ago, I believe, worked for the Department of Justice, who passed on this case. And we're going to dig into his background a little bit more later. But here's some of what he said today in his opening argument. He said Cohen's job, Michael Cohen, who was an attorney, obviously, who worked closely at one point with the President Trump. Cohen's job, before he was president, Cohen's job really was to take care of problems for the defendant. Pecker would act as eyes and ears for the campaign. Tell me your assessment of that in their opening argument, and also of what may or may not have been legal or illegal about either one of those points.
Yeah, neither of those things state crimes, and that's not what's alleged in the indictment. This is an indictment about business records fraud, purported business records fraud, and all the evidence is going to show that the business records in question, one, were not made by President Trump, and two, were not in any way, shape, or form fraudulent. Michael Cohen, as we've stated repeatedly in court pleadings, has been found liable for perjury and in front of a number of previous courts. This is a show trial. President Trump did absolutely nothing wrong, and we firmly believe that the evidence is going to bear that out in court in the coming weeks, and that any fair and impartial juror would see through the prosecution's smoke and mirrors strategy here to really get at the facts, which are completely and utterly exonerative of President Trump's conduct.
So we expect to see Michael Cohen on the stand. Here is something that he recently posted on X. He says, "Hey, Vaughn," and then he uses expletives to refer to the former president. "Your attacks of me," not grammatically correct, "stink of desperation. We are all hoping that you take the stand in your defense." So why is he allowed to post things like that, and the former president isn't allowed to say anything about him under penalty of punishment?
Yeah, that's exactly how absurd this gag order is. Witnesses like Michael Cohen can go on TV, can record podcasts, can say anything they want. And meanwhile, we're subject to totally unconstitutional restrictions on what we're able to say. These are restrictions that violate core principles on prior restraint that are at the very heart of the First Amendment. This whole trial is proceeding in a highly irregular way. And I think that the fact that Michael Cohen can say what he wants to say and we can't really respond shows just how absurd this whole process has been.
How difficult do you think it will be for the Trump attorneys to discredit him based on his past? And how much can they say about Michael Cohen's outside dealings and the rest of this story when they cross-examine him?
I think Michael Cohen is going to have a full and vigorous cross-examination by our team that will get into many aspects of his history. And we believe that will ultimately be persuasive because the facts are totally on President Trump's side in this case.
All right, we'll see where it goes. Will Scharf, thank you very much. Trump attorney in the immunity case, and we'll be watching that one closely as well. Thank you very much, sir. Good to have you here today.
Thanks a lot.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.